And Johnny, moving on into our next topic, taking a little step away from Marvel, going into DC before we get into Marvel to end the podcast. But what we're looking at here from the DC side of things is we knew from Comic-Con that the CW, the Arrowverse, was going to be introducing Batwoman. We got a little short that they were going to do an hour special, like a crossover event with Arrow and the Flash, I believe, and Supergirl, introducing Batwoman. It was going to be a Batwoman crossover event. Well, this past week, or I should say last week, because this was going to be one of our topics last week, they have now hired Ruby Rose to be Batwoman. So there's a lot to unpack here.
Yeah.
The first that I want to unpack is the positive of this, is Ruby Rose is going to be Batwoman. And the first thing I will ask you, kind of a loaded, like, putting them together. First, what are your initial thoughts of Ruby Rose being Batwoman? And two, how do you think she's going to be as Batwoman in the CW,
congrats,
in the Arrowverse?
Well, congrats to her for finally going out into a bigger role because, I mean, I don't know, really. I've never really seen any of the movies she's been in that I read off other than the tourism thing.
People who watch Orange is the New Black might come after you. They might come after you. But to be honest,
I just haven't watched any of the stuff.
On the same side, Orange is the New Black is one of those, like, yes, it's popular. People might know what it is, but I still put it off into, like, its own. It has its own cult following of fans.
Of it.
Yes. Like, it's not one of those things that everybody has seen.
Exactly.
And, like, for me, like you kind of mentioned, she's been in big things. It's just not, like, she hasn't been the main role in them. Like,
but now she'll be the main role in something.
Like John Wick.
So kudos to her for that.
Keanu Reeves. Like Pitch Perfect. All the girls from the first one.
You don't really
Wilson.
you don't really have a specific.
Oh, who am I thinking of? Anna Kendricks.
Yes.
Also. You've got Triple X, where it was Vin Diesel is the main in that movie. The Meg, you've got Jason Statham as the lead.
Yeah.
With her as Batwoman,
she'll be the lead.
She will be the lead.
Which is why I'm giving congrats to her. Because she'll be the lead in one of these, like a TV series. I was trying to think of what it's called.
How is she going to do, though, as Batwoman?
To be honest.
And are you excited for a Batwoman series?
Meh. I'm not caught up on a lot of the Arrowverse anymore, so I'm excited to check it out. But I haven't watched it in a while, so I'm like, okay, I don't know how she is an actress. I'll put it that way. So I'm not like opposed to her doing it. At the same time, I'm not like genuinely excited because I don't know much about any of that.
My whole thing, to be honest, is, like I told Dave, when this whole thing, the whole casting came out, like people were like, oh, well, what do you think about Ruby Rose being Batwoman? I'm like, well, I have nothing against her being Batwoman.
Yeah, same.
My main thing was, did we need a Batwoman series? Like, that's where we're gonna go, kind of like an okay Arrowverse. Like, I'm not gonna harp on your decision, but like, I thought like there are other stories to me personally, that I would love to see. Like, I know Dave and I were talking about it. I know that Arrow was never gonna get Batman to be in their Arrowverse because DC would never let Batman be in the TV realm. They're going to keep him for the movies. But, like, I always thought that we would get maybe, like, a Robin spinoff. And I guess you can say, well, Ricky, we're getting that with
Teen
Titans on the DC streaming service. Or I was like, ooh, maybe a Nightwing series. But
again,
I mean,
same thing.
Exactly. But also they're developing a Nightwing movie for the silver screen. So why would you make a TV series with that? But I mean, the Batwoman one is interesting because it's kind of, I mean, going along with, look at where the CW has been. If I'm not mistaken, the order of it was Arrow was the first, The Flash was second. You have then Legends of Tomorrow was third. That was the combined group that also moved Constantine over to them and made him, to me, in my mind, a bigger part of that and was able to let that character shine. Then you had Supergirl come in. Now we're having Batwoman. come into this. So
also,
it's kind of the trend that we're getting the 2 back-to-back Supergirl, then the new one is Batwoman.
Also, to add to those, the CW Seed, which is not on the TV series, it's like a downloadable app.
Yeah.
CW shows there is Constantine TV series.
Yeah.
And then I think Vixen had one too. So all connected to those as well, seeing as you brought Constantine into it. And Vixen came off of.
I love that Constantine character.
Same.
Like he is
the same guy, yeah.
Because Legends of Tomorrow was the one where it's like I wasn't gonna be like, man, I gotta watch this every time. But if it was on, or I'm like, I'll pop on a Legends episode. He was always my favorite. Absolutely my favorite all the way through. For me, it's not a like, oh my God, we're getting Batwoman. Why the hell are we doing this? It's just a like, all right, let me see how it's going. Because I'll be completely honest too, with the Arrowverse, like a lot of people that I've talked to, it's like, well, I haven't watched Arrow in a while. Like
I'm one of those.
It's one of those two is, I'll ask you this. Is the Arrowverse getting towards the end? Where it's like, it's no longer new to where the point is like, all right, we're getting a Batwoman series. I'll check it out at the beginning, and then people will check it out and then kind of teeter off from it. And then the hardcore fans will stay, but then a lot of the people that checked it out will just peter off.
I think at least Arrow is itself. Maybe not the Arrowverse. Because you can kind of like rely on the Flash.
Because the Flash is really popular.
It's really popular. It's still fairly new compared to Arrow. Arrow's probably going to go into its 7th season soon.
Yes, I think so.
And Flash has only done its 4th season. So you still got
maybe right.
You got a few more seasons out of Flash. You can probably get. Still, same with Supergirl. You got a few more seasons out of that. You can probably get a season or 2 more.
So
out of.
You were right about Arrow.
Yeah.
Arrow this year, October 18th, they'll start their 7th season.
Yeah.
The Flash this October will start its 5th season.
Yeah, I said they just did their 4th. So
Supergirl will start its 4th season, and then Legends of Tomorrow will also start its 4th season as well. So
Legends of Tomorrow, only because it's not like the hype of the other 3, because it's like, oh, main superhero.
And I was also
B-list superheroes.
Yeah, and I was also wrong on my ordering. It was Arrow, Flash, Supergirl, then Legends of Tomorrow.
Okay.
For some reason, I thought Legends of Tomorrow came out.
I think what they did is they hinted in the show at them, like coming together.
But then they came out with Supergirl.
Then they made Legends of Tomorrow a show.
The thing that I hate about this story is the thing that I hate the most about this story is the negative part of it now. Is we kind of talked about how will she do, which on our side, I think she'll do well.
I think she'll be fine.
Because like you look at the stuff that she's been in, all action movies pretty much, except for like a Pitch Perfect. But like you've got the action, you get the comedy from Orange is the New Black. But I don't think it's like she's not going to do well as Batwoman. I mean, it all comes together too of like how they're going to make her look as the character, but the negative part of this story has to deal with the backlash that Ruby Rose has been receiving from this, where she's quit Twitter.
You mean the unnecessary backlash?
Exactly, the unnecessary backlash. As I'm reading here from People.com, Deadline reported that before deleting her Twitter account, that Rose tweeted, "Where on earth did Ruby is not a lesbian, therefore she can't be Batwoman come from? Has to be the funniest, most ridiculous thing I've ever read. I came out at 12, and I have the past 5 years had to deal with she's too gay. How do y'all flip it like that? I didn't change. I wish we would all support each other on our journeys." And that ended her tweet. What are your thoughts on that part of the people, like you said, the unnecessary backlash at her becoming Batwoman and being casted as Batwoman?
To start, when I say my comment about that, I have nothing against the LGBT, did I say that right? Community, nothing against it. Now to comment what you asked me about, who gives a fuck? You don't need to be gay to play a gay role. You don't need to be Jewish to play a Jewish role. It's called acting. It's kudos to her. Not only is she get to play a role, as she stated in another one of her comments, a role she's wanted to see since she was a kid. She gets to play it. Kudos to the LGBT. I'm sorry, I always mess that up. The LGBT community. For having an LGBT actor or actress playing that role. I say kudos to all them. But honestly, lesbian, not lesbian, who gives a shit?
Well, I mean, the thing I'll say is the most important part is what she told Jimmy Fallon on the Tonight Show.
Yeah.
And this had nothing to do with the, like, oh, the Batwoman character is a lesbian, I'm a lesbian. It more so had to deal with, she's like, when I was growing up, I had no, like, you look on TV and you had nobody that you could look up to.
In the LGBT community. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying, though.
I will be completely honest. I come from a background of I didn't have, like, I wasn't in those shoes.
Oh, exactly. I wasn't either.
I looked up to mostly, like, I would watch something and be like, I can do that. And probably the only thing, like, that I can think of from my childhood that did a good job, even though we made fun of it for it because of the colors that they gave some of the Rangers, but like Power Rangers, they had at the time, you've got Kimberly, Jason, Billy, and Tommy were all white. You had Zach, who was black. You had Trini, who was Asian. But also, like, on my side, although I wanted to be Jason, I could look up to Billy because I'm like, one of the big things when I was a kid was I could never be a superhero. I have glasses. Like, because that was the big thing, like with sports and everything, too.
True.
It was, you needed special athletic glasses and the Horace Grant goggles with the strap around it because your glasses will fall off and they'll break.
Exactly.
And seeing Billy on the Power Rangers with glasses, I was finally like, I could be a Power Ranger if I wanted to because Billy also has glasses and was also that kind of like nerdy character, too. With this, that's the part of her statement that I really want to like put light on because to me that's the most important part. But I do agree in this sense with this character, the most important part shouldn't be, is Ruby, like she said in her tweet, that is she lesbian enough to play this role? It should be, hey, how is she, like, does she have the acting chops to
completely agree
Batwoman? And I know people are going to say there's going to be one side in the comments that go, you guys are blinded to this. If you guys were on the other side, it would be, you wouldn't have that same thought. And that's why I brought up the first part where it's important to have that so that, like she said, she can be kind of a role model to a girl that is going through that same situation as a younger girl. But like the most important part too, well, I say most important part of everything. This is another important part, is the very last thing she says in that tweet. I wish we would all support each other on our journeys. Like, it's one thing to hate a casting role because you don't think that person X would be a good Batwoman. But it's another thing to say just because you are the person you are in real life doesn't mean you can be this role.
Exactly. That's the thing that honestly pisses me off. It doesn't matter whether she's lesbian, what race she is, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's the one thing that you and I always look at. Do they have the acting chops for it? And that's all that should be looked at.
Unless it's something, the only thing I'll interject really quick, unless it's like a Jon Stewart, like Green Lantern.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, if I'm casting Jon Stewart, I'm actually going to cast an African-American or an African actor and not cast anyone else. Like,
I agree.
If it's something like that, there's a requirement there that needs to be hit in order for that character.
But, I mean, like, okay, let's say this Batwoman thing in particular. She doesn't, I give, again, congratulations to Ruby Rose for getting the part.
Yeah.
I hope you do really well. But what I'm trying to say with that is I'm trying to cast someone for Batwoman. I don't care if they're lesbian, what race they are, whatever to me, because
of the whole law of equal employers.
Well, not just that. It's because I just want them to be a good actress.
True.
I want that role to be done right, and that's it.
Get the job. So what you're saying is, to clarify too, is get the job based on your credentials,
not on who you are as in the real world.
Yeah,
exactly. No, I don't care who you are in the real world. As long as you're going to do a good job playing that role, that's what I care about.
And for me, I feel like...
And this is a great stride for the LGBT community to have a hero...
in a major superhero TV show.
Yeah.
She'll be the first.
She'll be the first one of the LGBT community to play a hero of the LGBT community. Yeah. That is awesome. That is awesome on both sides of that. But like I'm trying...
Because there were also people that are like, how could you play Batwoman? Batwoman's Jewish and you're not Jewish. There was that whole thing too. It's like,
it was like, really?
I don't like...
I'm sorry, to be fair, how much of that actually plays into... how much of either of those actually plays into it? They might show the love interest of her with another woman.
Exactly.
That's about it. I'm not sure how many times they're going to show her going to temple.
Yeah, from what, or they might reference it.
They might reference it, but I'm not sure how many times, how like important that's really going to be in there.
One of the big things that they did in the comics to reference it is I'm trying to find the exact quote from it that I can. Let's see. It was like in the Batwoman comics where, to kind of put light to it, they did a like Christmas. It was around Christmas time.
Okay.
And that's how they did the divide of like, oh, she's a Jewish character because of the whole like, oh, well, you know, Christmas and all that and celebrating differently. I was trying to find the exact quote, but I couldn't find it. But basically that was how they introduced it in the comics, was it was around Christmas time and to kind of have her be different than what was going on. But I think the main part of it, and this is the part we'll end with, is that for me, although like Orange is the New Black, I'm like you, didn't tickle my fancy. Like it wasn't one of those where I had to watch it, but I'll be completely honest, I am not the target audience.
No.
Me and you are not the target audience for Orange is the New Black. Doesn't mean we can't watch it, but we're just not the target audience. I'll be completely honest, the XXX movie, like, it was an action movie she was in, but it was XXX Return of Xander Cage. I have been off the XXX bandwagon for quite a while.
I've never even seen them.
When that movie came out. And then, like, the John Wick one was, I hear, really good. The Meg, that one recently came out. That's what I think that she'll bring to this role that'll be interesting, an action background.
Exactly.
And I can't wait to see that from a Batwoman character, because any part of, like, anything Bat Family, whether it's Batman, whether it's Nightwing, whether it's Robin, whether it's Teen Titans, I'm including that in the Bat Family, although Robin's the only one in there. Whether it's a Batwoman, whether it's a Batgirl, this is something to where it's like, that is what she's going to bring, and that is going to be the most interesting part, because all those characters have to have some point of a action background to it. The last thing I'm going to ask you is something that I think Dave posed when me and him were just talking about it. What do you think of the decision? I know that taking out that they want to develop a Batgirl movie, push that to the side. Why do you think DC, this is the last thing I'll ask you, why do you think DC made the decision, hey, we're going to bring Batwoman into the Arrowverse instead of, hey, let's do a Batgirl TV series and not do a Batgirl movie?
Wait, I'm confused by your question, because Batgirl and Batwoman are two different people.
Exactly. Why do you think DC decided to put Batwoman in the Arrowverse and do a Batwoman series and not a Batgirl series?
Maybe because they still have the Batgirl on the back burner somewhere, saying, you know what, this isn't a priority right now. We still got Green Lantern as a main hero. We still got all these other main heroes we can work with. Batgirl's on the back burner. Maybe we can even throw her in as already like... What was the other one when she's...
Your Oracle.
Oracle. Maybe we'll even throw her in as Oracle already.
After Scarecrow.
Yeah. Maybe, like, because they were talking, we're going to do the Bat Family TV, like, the movie series things and blah, blah, blah. So DC maybe is like, okay, we're going to put this on a back burner right now. Hey, here, you can have Batwoman to work with Arrowverse, and there you go. So, because they have a huge Bat Family to work with.
They do. And that's the one thing, too, that I mean, Batwoman is something that I feel like having this character out there is just going to bring eyes to the Batwoman character and is going to make her more popular as a character as well. Also, another thing that I didn't find, because on IMDb, the only one on this movie is Margot Robbie for Harley Quinn, but I just thought to myself in the head, oh, Ricky, Birds of Prey, isn't Batgirl going to be in that? Because Birds of Prey, you got Black Canary. I can't remember if it was just going to be Black Canary, Huntress, and Harley Quinn, or if Batgirl in some sense was going to be in that movie as well. I know Huntress and Black Canary are for sure, along with Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn. But this is where you guys come in. Let us know what you guys think. First off, the main question. Ruby Rose is Batwoman. How will she be as Batwoman? That's plain and simple. Then the second part of what we went into with what do you think of the backlash? Do you stand with Ruby Rose as well? Let us know what you guys think down below in that comment section.